What's going on, fellow Tarnished? How are we all doing today? We are going to be looking at a blood build that I've been working on for the better part of a week and a half now. I think this does a decent amount of damage. It's really fun to use, and it's going to solve the problem of you dying all the time in this game because blood and arcane is incredibly overpowered. So we're going to be looking at talismans, we're going to be looking at weapons, we're going to be looking at gear, and I'm going to show you how it does against a few bosses. So let's get into it. So I'm going to show you guys 3 or 4 different weapon variations that you can use with this particular build. This particular build is designed so that when you are starting to experience blood loss on your enemies, your attack power is going to go way up and you're going to do a ton more damage and kill bosses super fast. So the first thing we're going to look at here is the Godskin Peelers. I have them at plus 25 and I have the Ash of War Seppuku on them. This is going to make them do an incredible amount of damage when you are causing blood loss buildup. With the blood loss buildup at 140, with just this attack right here, that's 4 different times you're going to hit an enemy, and it's always going to cause blood loss. Once that blood loss happens, you're going to have some talismans that are going to proc, and you are going to do a ton of damage. So with these weapons, you can use them. Obviously, I have 2. I will use 2 of every single weapon in this build because this is a New Game Plus build. I'm about to be on New Game Plus 4, and this build is going to be good with 1 of these or 2 of these. Now, the only issue that I have found with the Godskin Peeler is that its attack is just a hair slow. Once you get past your initial jump attack and you come in and you do your 4 swipes, the initial just regular swings are a little bit slower than some of the other weapons on this list. But nonetheless, you still do the damage you want, you still take the bosses down just as quickly, and these are an excellent choice if you're looking for a great blood weapon. So the next weapon we're going to be looking at with this particular blood build is the Rivers of Blood Katana. This is undoubtedly one of the best weapons for a blood build in all of Elden Ring. It has a plus 77 blood loss if you have it fully leveled up at plus 10, or I have another one at plus 8 with 75. So either way, you're getting very close to that maximum blood loss buildup for this particular weapon. It has an arcane scaling of D and a dex scaling of B. This weapon is super agile. It's really quick in its attacks. It can be used effectively single hand and dual hand, and if you have 2 of them, you're just going to do that much more damage. When I have the jump attack talisman enabled, it's going to allow me to get that jump attack off to do a ton of extra damage, get the blood loss going, and then use my Ash of War to then spray the entire battlefield with blood, and thus making everything just crumble beneath my feet. I think this weapon is one of my favorites to use for this particular build. It also completely melts bosses, areas of enemies, you name it, this weapon can do it. Highly recommend it. Definitely need to try this one out if you're looking at getting a really solid blood build. So the next weapon that you can use with this particular build is going to be Mogans' Sacred Spear. This is a very interesting weapon because its attack is super slow, but it's all about the Ash of War with this weapon. Blood Boon Ritual. This is going to cause you to stick the spears directly into the sky, sucking all the life force out of everybody around you and completely destroying the battlefield. I have used this against bosses, I have used this against enemy NPCs. This makes everything in Elden Ring incredibly easy, almost to the point where I don't want to use it because it just makes things not fun and not a challenge. But this has blood loss buildup as well, so with the arcane and dex build we are doing, this is going to just do a lot of damage very quickly. And the other thing that you're going to notice after the Ash of War is complete, the weapon is going to have a glow to it, which is a fiery glow. That is part of the Ash of War, the Blood Boon Ritual. It's going to allow you to then add fire damage on top of your physical damage that you do with the thrusting attack of this weapon. Like I said, definitely a weapon you need to check out. Definitely highly recommend you use this weapon at least at some point in this build because it's going to make clearing mobs and bosses easy mode. Alright, and for the last weapon that we are going to have on this list is going to be Margetts' Curved Sword. Now, this is a underdog if you ask me. I absolutely love using this weapon with my build that I currently am running with the Arcane and Dex. I think it does an absolutely wonderful job of clearing mobs, doing a ton of damage to bosses. It has blood loss buildup of plus 88. You're going to have physical damage with it. It's going to scale with Arcane and Dex with a B scaling and Dex. Overall, this weapon's attacks are just great. It's a fun weapon to use. It looks really unique. And every single time that I have used it, I've never had the problem of being overwhelmed by enemies because of its Ash of War, which is Cursed Blood Slice. And this is going to allow you to put a blood slice in front of you that's going to catch on fire, and then you can follow up with another slice, and that's going to spread even more fire in a circular motion around you. Now, just something to note here, this is going to be in the greatsword category. Even though it is a curved greatsword and it swings a little bit faster than the other ones, I still think it has a little bit of a handicap on it when you are trying to use this weapon and go kill for kill for kill really quickly. It's just one of those weapons that you have to kind of time out your attacks. Your Ash of War has a step up to it and then a swing, so you just have to kind of plan everything out pretty methodically. But if you like this type of weapon, this is going to go great with the Blood build. So let's look at the items that make this build tick and why I feel it's so good and has been so enjoyable in my time with it. If you go to your equipment, what you're going to see is we're going to have the white mask. And what this item is going to allow you to do is anytime there's bloodletting in the area, so very close to you, you are going to get an attack power boost. This is super helpful. It's going to allow you to do more damage with your blood attacks. Overall, this is the only choice that I was going to use. Now, moving on to the cloak, we have the Raptor's Black Feathers. Now, what this is going to allow you to do is when you use a jump attack, it is going to strengthen that jump attack and is going to give you more damage for that attack. So, this works especially well with the Godskin Peelers, where you get 4 attacks pretty much in the air before you even hit the ground. This is something that is going to allow you to get that just extra bit of damage off as soon as you enter the fray. I like this. It looks awesome, and overall, it's just a great choice for this particular build. Next, I have the gauntlets and the greaves. These are just Malekith's pieces of armor. I use them only for the fact that they're fashionable and they look extraordinarily amazing. So that's all I'm going to say about those. But moving over to the talismans, we have the Claw Talisman. This is going to enhance the jump attacks stacked on top of the cloak. That's going to give you just extra power going into a fight and allow you to do way more damage. And next up, we have the Shard of Alexander. This is going to greatly boost your attack power of your skills. So anything that causes blood, this is going to boost your attack power super high up. And it's going to allow you, once again, just to do that extra damage that we want to do with this build. For our third talisman, we have Millicent's Prosthesis. This is going to boost our dexterity, raise our attack power with successive attacks. So the more attacks you do in a row, the higher your attack power is going to go. And that's going to give you more damage. This is the reason that I dual wield weapons, because I want those successive attacks to happen really fast to constantly get that attack power boost. And finally, for our last talisman, we have the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. Whenever blood loss is in the vicinity, it will increase your attack power. Now, I've been doing tests. I don't 100% know if this talisman and this mask cancel each other out. I would assume not, because this cloak and this talisman stack on top of each other. So pretty much whenever there's blood loss in the vicinity, you are going to get an attack power boost, and then you're also going to get an attack power boost from your white mask. This is just overall to get as much damage out of the build as humanly possible. And the last item we need to take a look at is our flasks. I am just using the Green Burst Crystal tier and the Opaline Bubble tier. I love getting the damage negation to where I get 1 free hit and I don't have to take any damage. And then the temporary boost in stamina recovery speed with the jumping around and the using attacks in the air. It's just going to take more stamina than normal, so having extra stamina recovery speed is just going to be a great match for this particular build. Alright guys, and that is it for the video. If you guys have any other improvements you think I should make to the build, leave it down in the comments below. I'd love to start a conversation about how I can make these builds better. If you like this type of content, make sure to hit that bell notification so you can know when I'm making more, and until the next time guys, I will see you then.